endless just to push us to the border. Every speech's a weapon, every promise just a trap. They profit from the chaos while we tear each other apart. Split us, kill us, grind us down in factions. Their words are sparks designed to trigger chain reactions. Chaos conduction, running voltage through our rage. Chaos conduction, the more we fight, the more they stay. Chaos conduction, a system built on fear and noise. Chaos conduction, we burn each other while they keep their fucking peace. That they never plan to build. Turn every honest question into something to be killed. No bridges, only barricades, no truth, just curated lies. They point at us as enemies while hiding what they hide. Split us, pillars, grind us down in factions. Their words are sparks designed to trigger chain reactions. Chaos conduction, running voltage through our rage. Chaos conduction, the more we fight, the more they stay. Chaos conduction, a system built on fear and noise. Chaos conduction, we burn each other while they keep their fucking vision sharp enough to cut the rust. Spoke of change like it was possible, like the walls were older than dust. See, fucking vision was a weapon, thought honesty could bend the frame. He didn't know the system listens only to those who play its game. They smiled as they circled, measured him in silence, already sharpening the tools they used to tame defy us. Status quo, the order that devours the brave. Status quo, where every spark is forced to fade. Status quo, they break the ones who try to rise. Status quo, until their fire speaks with someone else's voice. They slow the steps with empty meetings, various plans in endless forms. Turned allies into quiet warnings, turned the beast roof into a storm. They praised him just to corner him, called him naive for wanting more. Every door he tried to open led him back to the same locked door. They whispered, take it easy, don't push, don't stand alone. Every gentle sounding word, another crack inside his bones. Status quo, the order that devours the brave. Status quo, where every spark is forced to fade. Status quo, embrace the ones who try to rise. Status quo, until their fire speaks with someone else's voice. Nights grew longer, the weight grew colder. He felt the fire thinning as the pressure crest his shoulders. He told himself it's pointless, told himself it's fine, told himself the world won't change no matter how he fights. Let the current pull him in. Step aside the ones who crushed him, learn to wear their practiced grin. He traded vision for convenience, traded truth for quiet days. And the fire he once carried now burns softly in the cave. Status quo. Status quo. He stands among them in the line. Status quo, former self left far behind. Status quo, the system wins without a fight. Status quo, to keep the peace, and slaves to fight and hide. Certain your ground was higher. You sharpened every argument like a blade you thought could not fail. You fed your confidence on the noise that circled you. You mistook applause for allegiance. You mistook echoes for conviction. You mistook the crowd for an army. You trusted their volume, you trusted their comfort. You never asked who they were without you. Conformism, the reinforcements that never come. Conformism, the army that never won. You built an army out of echoes. You mistook flattery for loyalty. You believed they would stand with you. They never intended to. You carried their weight until the moment it mattered. And when the first blow landed, you finally saw how empty your ranks had been. Now the field is quiet and the dust fades without direction. Your arguments lie scattered like weapons dropped in fear. Your higher ground is only ground. Your certainty is only noise. And the people who cheered wherever you were are nowhere in sight. Conformism. Conformism. The reinforcements that never come. Conformism. The army that never won. Conformism. You stand alone the moment the enemy arrives. They built a code of silent faces, measured worth by who obeys. Not by skill or understanding, but by how well one mirrors praise. They crown the ones who nodded, not the ones who dared to know. For power fears the competent. They rise too fast, they grow. So loyalty became the currency, the only truth they trust. And knowledge turned to liability, a threat they'd rather crush. The loyal are the chosen, the faithful not the wise. The loyal are the chosen, the ones who never rise. The loyal are the chosen, their silence buys their place. The loyal are the chosen, obedience dressed as grace. They sidelined every thinker, every voice that questioned form. They called it keeping order, but it was fear in uniform. They praised the ones who echoed, those who bowed without a sound. And every mind they buried made the circle tighter bound. For rulers dread the capable, they see the cracks too clear. So they elevate the pliant, the ones who worship fear. The loyal are the chosen, the faithful not the wise. The loyal are the chosen, the ones who never rise. The loyal are the chosen, their silence buys their place. The loyal loyal are the chosen, the faithful not the wise. The loyal are the chosen, the ones who never rise. The loyal are the chosen, a doctrine carved in bone. The loyal are the chosen, incompetence dethroned. Footnote, these rules do not apply to me. They crown themselves the arbiters, the keepers of the scale. For justice bends in silence when the sovereign cannot fail. They preach the weight of duty, the virtue of restraint, but power grants immunity to every self-made saint. Lex non tangit, the law that does not touch. Lex non tangit, for those who hold too much. Lex non tangit, a shield they canonize. Lex non tangit, where judgment never lies. They punish minor fractures, call the smallest doubt a crime. But when they break the structure, the silence is sublime. For rulers write exceptions in the margins of the code, and every breach they sanction keeps the hierarchy bestowed. They claim the law is sacred, a pillar of the state, yet carve escape for rulers who fear the rules they create. Lex non tangit, the law that does not vex. Lex non tangit, for those who hold too much. Lex non tangit, a shield they canonize. Lex non tangit, where judgment never lies. The chosen few is not a law at all, just a weapon dressed as truth. A system built on symmetry collapses when it tilts, but our fears equality more deeply than its gouts.